Imagination is the key to unlocking a door. Beyond it is the ninth dimension. A dimension of glue, a dimension of foam board, a dimension of plastic. You're moving into a world of baking powder and super sculpey, of pigment powder and dry brush. You've just crossed over into the scratch building zone.
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Aaron and I make things out of other things. And today's build is going to be a Star Wars inspired spaceship. But before we get to that, it's got to start somewhere. So this old shampoo bottle is going to be the main body of the build. And this random toy is going to be cut down to become a jet engine for the back of the spaceship. And these wooden sticks that basically hold plants up in plant pots will become the main frame for the wings. And this granny grating will be what I'll be sticking the framework to, just preparing my baking powder. And if you're new to scratch building, baking powder placed onto super glue acts as a strong bond. Once you put that bad boy onto your super glue, nothing's going to pull it off. And then once my wings are completed, it's time to start assembling everything onto the main body. So what I decided to do with this build is stick everything first with hot glue, and then use the super glue with the baking powder as a backup just around the seams. Then I'm going to use a plastic pasta strainer that I got from the Euro store. Going to hit it with some hot glue and then just put it onto the spaceship just to give it some detailing. Now it's time to glue the wings onto the main body, and like I said, I'm just going to put hot glue on first, then go back around it with super glue, and then sprinkle some baking powder onto that. The reason why I'm using hot glue and super glue is because I didn't think ahead and try and screw or position some sort of dowel through the actual bottle to hold the wings into place. Next is the front end of the spaceship, which is basically the front bit of a water pistol that I just cut down and I'm going to use as like the nose cone. And as you can see, I was having problems simply because I hadn't sanded the front of the bottle down well enough, and it was taking its time to try and get a bond onto the plastic. Clothes pegs have nice detailing, so I cut one in half and glued either side of the spaceship just underneath the wings. There's various different shapes of clothes pegs that you could use for many different things. Sometimes I've used clothes pegs for feet for my robots as well. Q-tips, sadly these are the paper kind, but once the ends are cut off, become ideal piping for around the ship. Then wooden sticks will stick on the tips of the wings, and these will become some sort of like laser guns once I've added the beading to the front end of them. If any of you are wondering what that spray is, that's just the glue accelerator because I'm impatient and I like my glue to be stuck straight away. The top from a soap dispenser will just become a greebly that I'm going to stick to the top and underneath of the spaceship. And then wall plugs, again a great little thing to use as greeblies, and I'm just going to cut that down and just add some detail to the wings. Unfortunately you'll just see my hands at this bit because I'm no ace cameraman. That piece of plastic that I'm just putting some super glue on, these come from the insides of spray bottles. You can get lots of little greeblies from the insides of spray bottles, and I'm going to use 3 of them as the landing legs for the spaceship. Next, it was time to make the spaceship look special, and I just used various sticky gems all the way around the spaceship. The other greeblies that are on the spaceship are just basically from different things, different model kits that I broke down and just used, or some stuff that I've moulded using acrylic powder, and I will be showing you in a future video how to make your own moulds from using acrylic powder. Once all the greebling was done, I hit it with just a rattle can of black just to give it the base coat, and then pondered for a while of what colour to do next. So what I did was I just lightly sprayed it with some white just to give it some a little bit more of detailing with the paintwork. Then I decided it needed a go faster stripe, because a lot of spaceships in the Star Wars universe have some sort of stripes, so I just started using the brown, just lightly coating it so you can see some of the base coat coming through. It's a total different paint job to what I usually do, where I just get a paintbrush and slap paint on willy-nilly. This time I actually thought about it for a while and tried to make it more sort of in keeping with the Star Wars universe. Plus it was an excuse to bring out the airbrush again, just to keep practicing with that, because I feel that I've neglected it for a while now. And once the paint had dried, I carefully peeled off the masking tape to reveal the Go Faster stripes on the spaceship. Then, using a brush, I painted on some grey around the edges of the wings, which would represent the laser cannons for the spaceship. Then remasked everything that I painted brown and hit the spaceship with a light blue, and I wasn't too careful with it, but I was a little bit careful, but I wanted to keep some of the base coat paints showing through, so it was just a light coat here and there, so it was like a wear and tear on the spaceship. Then once the blue was done, I then put some black into the airbrush and just gave it a spray of black, just to give it look like it had some laser hits or it had been dirtied up in space, and that was it. The build was done. The Cloudbuster had been born. And once again, thank you for watching. If you like what you saw and you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing, because it would help the channel out. And until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody.